with some OCD. Would you like to explain a little bit more in depth about what you had?
Yeah, I've been diagnosed with OCD for a while now. I suffer from OCD because I clean a lot of stuff all the time.
Now, when you talk about cleaning, what do you usually talk about? You talk like repetitive cleaning?
Repetitive cleaning, cleaning the bathrooms 3 times a day, cleaning the kitchen, making sure the floors are all clean.
Now, when you're talking cleaning wise, do you do it because you feel like it's like you have a hygiene? There's a hygiene issue, or is it a health issue, or is it more of a mind over kind of thing?
Mind over. Because I feel like your life's not together without a clean house.
Now, how long have you been that way? Have you always had an OCD problem since you've been?
Since I was younger.
Like, so how did it start out, like when you were younger, like as far as the OCD? Because obviously it kind of built up to the way you are now.
Yeah. Started out mostly with toys and stuff.
Like cleaning up and stuff like that?
Toys.
Okay.
Rearranging them different ways.
Now, when you're saying about OCD and cleaning, does that also has to do with organization, like as far as like how you like certain things in the cupboards or in your closet and stuff?
Yeah, the closet's color coded.
Okay.
And clothing wise coded.
So like you have all the jackets together, you have all the pants together, but then the pants are color coded too. Why is that? Why do you have to have it like that? Like as far as that role
goes back to organization.
Okay. How's your cupboards in your pantry? How's that like?
Everything is pretty much the size and color.
Okay. Living room, how's that? Is it like everything's like in its place?
Everything
remotes?
needs to be in the right spot.
Okay. Backyard, kids' toys, kids' rooms and stuff like that?
Inside the house.
Okay. So all these OCDs, how does it make you feel? It doesn't help. What does that mean?
It doesn't really help just him saying, oh, it's okay that it's messy.
So what do you want him to do? What do you want him to do?
Help.
Like help clean?
Help clean so it's not as big of a burden on me.
Now when you're cleaning, obviously you're always going to look at two different ways, meaning you're going to do it a certain way and you want it done a certain way, but if he does it, he's not going to do it your way. And are you going to be okay with that?
Probably not.
Probably not. So you probably wind up cleaning behind him again, correct?
Yes, correct.
But at least that'll alleviate
more support.
Exactly. So it'll alleviate more of the stress. You also mentioned in the last thing that you have some anxiety about things. What were some things?
Anxiety pretty much goes with OCD.
So when things are not in the right place, you get kind of worked up. You also talked about the future, like going back to school. And what stresses you out about that?
More workload.
More work. How does that make you feel when you knowing that you're gonna have more workload?
Kind of.
You feel overwhelmed. You think you feel overwhelmed, confused.
Yeah, confused about how everything's going.
Maybe indecisive, not knowing this is the right path I need to do.
Right thing I'm gonna do.
What scares you most about that? About going back to school?
Not being able to keep everything else intact.
Like housework, kids, all the stuff like that. You also talked about future, like long term. Is there something else that's in the future that kind of like worries you, like kids, college, possibly another type of job, possibly moving? Does any of those things bother you?
Having to work around, I get a new degree, having to get a new job, having to move if I have to move for a new
Well, what type of job are you in right now?
Right now I'm in an insurance company.
And how long have you been there?
Been there for about 6 years.
So how do you like it? Do you feel pretty happy at your job, or does that bring you more anxiety?
I think we can do more.
Who's we? Like yourself or?
Me. Well, me as a person, but we as in my family.
So you feel like you could do better if you had a better job. So that's why you're going back to school. Now, how long do you think the schooling process will take?
I got some of my basics done earlier in life, so it's going to be about two to three
So about 2
years.
years. So it'll be a little stressed out for 2 to 3 years. So is that something you can handle, or are you okay with that?
Something that's going to have to work too.
Do you think you'll feel the same as far as the stress level and confused state that you'll be in, or
It's probably going to be more overwhelmed, but that's where my
many-
husband's going to have to step up and help.
just gonna have to kind of get with the program in a sense? Do you feel like this is something you can do or manage, or you feel like I can do it, but I'm just not sure, or you?
I feel like I can do it. I just don't know how we're going to deal with how I'm going to deal with the stress of it all.
Okay. Now you also talked about in our last session that you talked about some marital issues that kind of tie into the anxiety and the OCD that you have. Can you explain some of those marital issues that you had?
Just not being able to spend enough time with him. Working all the time, come home, take care of the kids.
Is that a regret? Is that something that you, obviously married life kind of throws all different types of curves at you, so is that something that you regret because you don't have that time?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and then not time with him also means not time with who? Your kids. So how does that make you feel when you can't spend time with him and you can't spend time with your kids?
It worries me. Don't really know what's going on.
What worries you? That you're missing out, or that
I'm missing out.
they're doing other things and you're not part of that, or
Feeling left out.
But is that
trying
something?
to help.
Obviously, that's probably one of the marriage.
Well, he supports us financially, but
Emotionally, and he's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Like when you're saying not emotionally that he doesn't support you, how does that make you feel when you don't have him there emotionally for
It's
you?
hard. It's sometimes depressing. But
So how do you handle that depression? What do you do? Clean?
clean.
Yeah, you probably clean. But what's another way of being able to get over that anxiety?
Talking it out to
So
him.
communication, obviously you got to be able to talk to him, got to communicate that. So how do you communicate that with him that we need time? Because that's obviously when
we have to find time to talk about needing time.
So how will that work out now, knowing that might be your new schedule? Like having school, your job that you go full time. You got your 3 kids in school. I don't know how old are your kids. Your kids are what? You think you told me 5, 7, and 13.
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna work the whole big piece of the pie and have a little part of that pie for him and for your kids too?
Possibly hiring a babysitter.
Babysitter.
To that.
So how will that babysitter help alleviate some of the stress?
The babysitter will maybe do more of the outside of the housework, like taking him to practice, taking some stuff
basically like a carpool, kind of like just doing the
stuff
thing.
That might not be.
Now you don't want this nanny clean, right? You don't want this nanny cleaning for you,
No.
because obviously with your OCD and the way you like things and stuff like that. What about cooking?
Cooking, fine, might be fine.
Okay, if a nanny can.
Yes.
They may not be Chef Ramsay, but I'm very sure they can make some decent meals for the kids. Now, will that be able to alleviate some of the stress to be able to spend more time with them, or will we? So, how are the ways that you think that you'll be able to work on some of the issues that you guys have?
Maybe a marriage counseling.
Marriage counselor. Why do you think marriage counseling would be a good way?
Because it would have to be time that we have to take out together. But it would also be a time to talk to someone else about it instead of just talking to each other, getting one side from both of us.
How do you think you'll feel about that?
Probably let down a little bit at first because it had to result to that, but I think it'll be good.
Now you also mentioned that he wanted another child, and you had told me in the last session that you didn't want any more, like 3 were done. How did he feel about that?
He was let down because he wants another child, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Now, do you think he was let down because he doesn't think that you guys can handle it, or was he let down because other reasons?
I think he was let down more because he thinks that I think that we can't handle it.
Now, do you say that you can't handle it in general, like right now, or like 6 months or a year, or you just like
for now?
So maybe possibly in the future later on that you would possibly want more kids.
Possibly. Depends how everything goes out.
And one of my last follow-up questions, and we had talked about this, like what would happen if you found out that you were pregnant? What would you feel? How would you feel, like, considering that was one of your issues in your marriage, that you don't want any kids? What would happen if you found out that you were pregnant?
think I would be more depressed for a while and having to put a lot of things on hold.
But I don't feel that a baby is a reason to be depressed, but sometimes people go through emotional changes and stuff to where they don't know how to respond.
It's an impact.
Yeah. So do you feel like if that happened, all right.